Is a water world, and we used to have a lot of water, but now we have a great deal of water. And so the first thing you may notice is there are 5 oceans in this world. You have the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific, the Indian Ocean. You have something down here called Southern Ocean, and now you have the Arctic Ocean, just like you have the Arctic Circle. In the old world, and that's really the only way we can speak of it, there was no Arctic Ocean because there was a polar ice cap. I'm not completely convinced that the polar ice cap is gone. But people in this world, they're mysteriously silent about the melting of the North Polar ice cap. So if you have the Arctic Circle, and this is known collectively as the Arctic Circle, you're going to have a candidate for Arctic Ocean. And also down here, because Africa is so much further north, and Australia is so much further north, and Argentina is so thin, really all you have down there, most of that is ocean, so why not have a Southern Ocean? I'd like to say at the onset that there are some Mandela effects in regards to geography that I do not share with many members of the rest of the community. For example, some people say Korean Peninsula was down in southern China. I have no memory of that. Some people say there was an island out here to the west of Australia. I have no memory of that either. And the most recent one is some people are saying Iraq and Iran have switched. I have no memory of that. For me, Iraq has always been west of Iran, okay? But now this one's very recent that's come up. Some people say that Mongolia was bigger, or smaller that is, and China was bigger. I have no memory of that situation either. Now, let's talk about what I do remember. I agree that from Brazil to Africa, there should be so much more ocean here. The Atlantic Ocean has maintained the same shape, but it should be so much larger than this. Brazil, the tip of Brazil right here should sit underneath of the United States. You can now go from Greenland to Antarctica. Well, not Antarctica, but you can now go from Greenland to Brazil and Mexico to Antarctica. So you see, if you made your little boat trip, Greenland, you could hit Brazil, and Mexico, you could hit Antarctica. That's just not possible in the old world that I remember. Alaska used to be roughly competitive with Texas. Now Alaska looks much larger. Hudson Bay is much larger. There's more water in this world, as we've already discussed. There's changes to the shape of India. Sri Lanka's in a different position. The biggest one that I can notice of recent is the Philippines have moved. They've moved westward. They're now setting under Taiwan when they were setting more under Japan. Because the shift eastward of South America has moved the Galapagos Islands under Mexico. They were never that close. They were out at sea. We've noted changes to Turkey, the Black Sea, a sea within a Black Sea now, Sea of Azov. Italy has changed, of course. Japan changed shape. It looks more like an L and may enclose the Korean Peninsula a bit more. Australia's moved north. It should set a little further south. I seem to recall a world where there was still a Papua New Guinea on the same island, and it was pulled further south as well. That was a long time ago. It was many, many decades ago, like back in the early 90s. But nonetheless, so you wouldn't have had a candidate for Oceania in the old world because Australia was pulled too much further down. So there's changes as Argentina looks a lot thinner than it used to. South America looks a lot thinner than it used to look. Changes to the Mediterranean Sea. But the biggest one of recent is the changing of the Philippines. Or the Philippines now belong in Southeast Asia, which is an incredible thing, I think. That's not the way it used to be. Cuba is larger and has switched with this island. Dominican Republic and Haiti should be on the other side. Cuba should be smaller, and they should be switched. The Bahamas are so close to Florida, it's unreal. They should be way out here. So that's just some of the changes that I would note right off